This is a call to action for our community and a demand to the city government of Los Angeles to take action. It's inspired by the lack of oversight on an irresponsible construction project. The mindset allowing this project to proceed despite numerous egregious violations of the law and a total disregard for an established wildlife corridor needs to change. 2234, 2240, and 2244 Stanley Hills Drive. 3 oversized homes currently being built on one of the oldest streets in Laurel Canyon. This was the last area of vacant land on Stanley Hills Drive. It has a decade of history with scofflaw violations.
Save our animals! Save our environment! Save our wildlife corridor!
What is a wildlife corridor?
A wildlife corridor is the same thing as a human highway, but for animals. A wildlife corridor helps re-establish animal populations that have been reduced or eliminated due to random events such as fires, disease, or overbuilding. Without a wildlife corridor, animals can't get the food, shelter, and mates they need to survive.
Paul Edelman of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy says the Stanley Hills Wildlife Corridor affects the wildlife presence in hundreds of acres of Santa Monica Mountains habitat. Those hundreds of acres are what help patch together the thousands of acres that create a wildlife corridor from Malibu to Griffith Park. The residents of Laurel Canyon understood this expert analysis and appealed to the Central Area Planning Commission. The commissioners also agreed with the experts. The Chief Zoning Administrator of Planning and the Department of Building and Safety did not agree and have not implemented a functioning wildlife corridor. We'd like to know why. Chief Zoning Administrator Lynn Wyatt has given significant assistance to a developer with an extensive scofflaw history by changing the boundaries of the wildlife corridor. Yossi Attia, the developer, was identified as not complying with the condition for the wildlife corridor. He then sought relief and preferential attention from Lynn Wyatt. It's on city record that the community's appeal against Lynn Wyatt's decision was upheld in part by the City Planning Commission because she erred in her discretion. As highlighted in Canyon Defender Movie Number 1, Ms. Wyatt has also erred in her determination on 8407 Grandview Drive in the Kirkwood Bowl. What other errors has she made?
Your trees.
You said your trees, the
Okay.
trees of our community.
It's my trees. It's my.
It's your property.
It's my
but
property. We're making the community better.
Yeah, not a mile.
Okay. You know, and as long as we go by the law, everything is good. And we are doing everything by the law.
Yossi Attia is the representative of the owners of the 3 homes in question and of Stanley Hills LLC. Stanley Hills LLC is a defunct Nevada corporation which has not been qualified to do business for over a year. Mr. Attia has been involved in over 30 legal actions in California, Nevada, and Florida, which include bankruptcies of corporations, foreclosures, and actions sounding in fraud.
What's critical here is that the Central Area Planning Commission requested a functioning wildlife corridor. It was based on real science that was provided by the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy.
It's a unique ecosystem which no other major city has. A mountain range ecosystem running right through the middle of their city.
The importance of wildlife in this neighborhood is humongous. Every other neighborhood in LA that I've been to does not compare to the beauty of this one.
What we need is to preserve this wildlife. This is their place. This is where they live as much as we do.
This is the property corner. The fence has been here for over a year. Why has the city allowed him to put the fence and all of his equipment on the corridor.
Whenever these fences are being built to block off this wildlife corridor, it's like a dam.
And now they're going to build 3 houses on this lot. I don't see any room for a tree anywhere.
It's just Laurel Canyon in this area has a long history of being neglected by the Building and Safety Department, of not having laws enforced, and having code violations that go completely unnoticed by anybody.
Build a home that accommodates the corridor rather than the other way around.
It's a scar on the environment, and all the animals that used to hang out by my home are gone.
If they go away, the food chain gets out of balance. Gophers and mice and rats will take over. And then there'll be too many, and they'll populate too much. Then they'll be in our houses and getting all over our stuff, and we're going to have to drive them out, but it won't work. We have to have those animals to keep our life in balance. It's fine how it is.
We want to live here, but we want them to live here with us.
We want the animals for our children. Why does Lynn Wyatt care more about developers than the wildlife corridor?
This is not just a wildlife corridor in namesake. It's not just an easement on a map. This is real life, guys, and it's not okay for one person, a zoning administrator with the stroke of a pen, to just change the real science.
What you have in the city of LA are these rogue officials that come through and have these little fiefdoms and just make whatever decision they want based on probably politics.
My taxpayer money does not go to help rich people become richer by grabbing land and disregarding laws that I was brought up to obey.
What we call green open space, the city regards as just green, the color of money.
You know, government's supposed to represent us, and we shouldn't have to be as skeptical and suspicious as we are all the time and have to fight this all the time.
This is an issue of fairness and of getting the city to do the right thing.
We'd like to see a light shown on the zoning administrator's practices, especially for this particular wildlife corridor.
There has to be something to protect this as a wildlife corridor, not just for this developer, but for the next owners down the road.
This green is why we're here.
This is the naturey part of town, and we like it that way.
Get involved. Here's what you have to do. Contact Chief Zoning Administrator Lynn Wyatt and ask her why she gave preferential treatment to the developer, Yossi Atiyah. Contact Director of Planning Michael Legrand and ask him why he's not ensuring protections for the Stanley Hills Wildlife Corridor. Contact Council Member Tom Labange of Council District 4 and ask him to ensure enforcement of all laws and conditions applying to the Stanley Hills Wildlife Corridor. Since this video was shot, we've discovered 7 protected trees were illegally removed from this project site without first obtaining permits. Cutting protected trees without a permit is a crime. Contact City Attorney Carmen Trutanich and insist that Stanley Hills LLC is prosecuted to the letter of the law. On August 7, 2012, the concerned residents of Stanley Hills Drive filed a lawsuit against City Planning, the Department of Building and Safety, and the City of Los Angeles. Support their efforts at laurelcanyon.org. Phone numbers, email addresses, and a link to our petition have been provided in the description directly below the video you're watching. Use them.